What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails Through Daybreak 2. Last time we were continuing on our patrols through Edith with Elaine, Swin, and Nadia. We met up with Toa, Shareed's sister Zita, as well as Professor Hamilton, and they helped us crack down on where these orbital malfunctions should be coming from, which we now know it's going to be in some secret sector in the Blacklight District. But before that, we do have one more request to handle over here, as well as a new floor to handle in the... Actually, let's do that first, just so I have an excuse to find it. There it is. In the Martian Garden. Yep, we have the third floor now, which is good. So, the characters in reserve will be the ones not getting experience. Only your main 8 will get experience. Alright, so, 3 normal areas, and then, so let's, I'm not gonna include them right now, simply because I don't know when they're gonna join again. I'm trying hard to remember what the group layouts are, and I don't remember off the top of my head, so since they are the highest level characters, I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. So let's just go ahead and get started. Good to see Van again, even though he's not part of this section of the story. So we have to disarm 3 devices. Alright. Here's one. Oh. So that's one. We gotta find 2 more like that. So yeah, you just run up to them and cast an art at them. I will say though, I said at the end of the last video, I want to do at least the first run of all these floors, but I think for the post game, because I believe there's no cutscenes until the end of the last floor, I think those I will mostly do off screen, because I think there's like an extra like 10, and there's just one like post game cutscene. So it'll probably just be one video after the actual finale that'll just include all the cutscenes and the final boss of the Martian Garden. Because even just with the cutscenes and the boss, it's probably still going to be like a 30-40 minute video. Gotta make our way over here. So we did just get a new for cast. Guess it wouldn't hurt. Fortune. Okay. And then, evade 2, I guess. Oh no, we should put it up there. That'll work. So we need to slay the small monsters, which means we need these ones. Alright.
Nice, yo. Sebin-kun.
Oh, 宝箱だな。
すごいオーラね。警戒しないと。
Alright, screw it. Okay. Okay, so we've done 5. We gotta find 3 more. So the cursors on the map kind of show you what the small ones are. The giant purple ones are the medium-sized ones. Or maybe the purple mark is supposed to be the ones you're supposed to be targeting. Maybe I'm just completely off base with that. I mean, let's see. I mean, I always treated it as the ones you're supposed to be going for. Oh, nope, I was right. So, well, wrong. But, yeah, it's just letting you know which ones you're supposed to go for. Alright, now we just gotta take out this guy. Sure. Lighter.
たわいのない相手ね。
さすが見せるな。
Sure, surprise me.
やれやれ。
Breakable
まだ
objects.
続く
Okay,
のか。
that one's easy. That means we don't actually have to fight anybody here.
敵の群れだ。気をつけろ。
Oh, there was a treasure chest back here. Later in the game, I don't care as much about getting them all, but early game, you can get a lot of accessories and quartz, so... have a chance to, anyway.
お、宝箱だな。
ここらで区切りみたいだな。
Alright, and then we just got the boss after this, and then we'll go handle that other 4 SPG. And then... yeah. Let's see what kind of boss we're fighting. Oh, there's a lot of them.
ボス戦開始。てな。魔法とすか。
このまま攻めるわよ。もう大臣よ。お願い。
正気。
甘い。
こんなもんだろ。
まだまだ精進あるのみよ。
少しはあいつに近づけたか。
決まったぜ。
Alright, cool. So we have handled that. I think what I'm probably going to do is after this video... oh, it's kind of nice that it lets you know how many of the different enemies you fought. So there were some areas in the second floor that I did not fight, so I'll keep that in mind too for when I go back. But after this video is over, I think that's when I'll go back in here and do the 3 attempts on each floor. Just knock them out. But for now, we are back here, so let's go ahead and actually first...
よし。
I want to go back and use the bath again, get everyone's craft points back up. So yeah, like, you'll notice that a lot of the music in this game, you know, for each of the zones is similar to what it was in the first game, or just the same in general. You will not get that in the next game. In the next game, every single place you go to, new or old, has a brand new theme, and that's simply because, like I mentioned before, Daybreak 2 in Japan came out the following year after Daybreak 1. East 10 wasn't ready to come out yet, and they didn't want to have a rushed out East game, so instead they did a rushed out Trails game. So that's why they did reuse a lot of stuff from the first Daybreak in the sequel. Besides, obviously, like, the story and the Martian Garden and stuff like that, like, obviously all of that stuff is new. But, like, for example, like, outside of Van, Elaine, and Agnes, and 1 or 2 other characters that, you know, I'll mention when we get there, all the other characters from the first Daybreak, for the most part, have the same outfits. Or artwork, rather. Or outfits and artwork. Obviously, Van still has the same outfit, but he has new artwork. But Aaron, Judith, Quatcher, all of them have the same artwork and outfits from the first game. Alright, let's see what kind of job we got. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, T-phone fraud. Someone got scammed and got the wrong product. This is the guy we saw earlier. Are you Ned? We saw your 4SPG. Oh, then you must be the Spriggan I've been hearing about. That's right, although we're actually just filling in for the real one for a bit. Huh? I'll be honest, I was expecting someone a little more shady looking. Glad you're not, though. But have I seen you somewhere before, miss? I have. Don't mind me, I'm not actually a Spriggan. I just lend them a hand every now and then. Anyway, would you mind explaining your request in a little more detail? Oh yeah, sorry, let me explain. I guess to put simply, I got swindled out of Mira. Some guys came up to me saying they had cheap T-phones on sale with just a few stipulations. T-phones, those are those consumer-grade versions of Ziffas that act as mobile terminals, right? Didn't they start selling them this year? That's right, they've been the rage since they went on sale. It's supposed to be top-of-the-line gadget. Yeah, they're basically, they're Orbit phones, just without the battle capabilities. Up until now, mobile terminals have only been available to people like government officials or people in the guild or military. Yeah, because you use them for combat. But now even your average Joe can get one. It's like we've stepped into a whole new era. A T-phone is like a status symbol. If you manage to bag one, the whole world would know how classy you are. You sure are passionate about them. Guys get psyched up about the weirdest things. Well, anyway, that's why I was so excited to head to the Verde store to pick one up. But a single T-phone is pretty expensive. They're like 20,000 Mira. That's way out of my price range, so I was starting to feel a bit bummed. But then when I left the store, these two guys approached me. They showed me flyers for cheap T-phones and said they could hook me up with one for 5,000. With only a few stipulations. Uh-huh. When I asked if they could tell me more, they took me to a nearby cafe to talk. So someone came along at just the right time and talked you into what you thought was a good deal. But what were the stipulations you mentioned? Well, the first thing they said was that even though these cheaper T-phones were official products, they got them from a problematic source. They were supposed to be distributed to members of some institution, but these guys ended up getting them on the down low. On the down low? So what you're saying is they were sold illegally? Sounds like a deep-seated issue if that's the case. Yeah, but despite that, they told me not to worry because it was all a gray area. But if it did happen to get out to the police or guild, they would have to stop selling them. So they told me to keep the truth between us. They also told me that if it happened to break on me, I couldn't take it to an official dealer. Those were the two main stipulations they had. They wanted me to sign a contract and everything. I see, if there really was a gray area, you'd think they'd be a little less hush-hush about it all. It definitely sounds suspicious. I'm guessing you ended up signing anyway? Yeah, I was told they only had a limited supply and they were first come, first served basis. I panicked, you know. But the real problem is what happened next. The T-phone they sold me doesn't even work. It's a complete piece of junk. It doesn't have the camera functionality it's supposed to, and I can't even get a call to connect properly. I see, the very model of a scam. I mean, I do feel a little sorry for you, but you kind of brought this on yourself. So, what do you want us to do about these scam artists? The thought of them getting away with this while I wallow in despair is a big bruise to my ego. And while I do want them to get raked over the coals for this, I really just want you to get all my Mira back. I think you'd get both your wishes if you reported this to the police. And yet you decided to put in a 4SPG request instead. I know what you're trying to say. I get that it's selfish of me. Here I am wanting to get them back for swindling me, yet I'm not willing to accept the consequences of my own mistakes. I don't see why it'd be such a big deal. Everyone looks out for number 1 in the end, right? Except for me, because I always put S first no matter what. Oh wait though, now that we've added a certain doll to the rankings. Oh brother. Getting back to the matter at hand, this certainly sounds like a request that leans more toward the edge of the law. So what would the substitute Spriggans like to do about it? I don't mind taking the job, but what to do? Alright, I understand, we'll take the case. You know, I've never actually denied a request in any of these games, so I want, if you deny it, does it just disappear? I'm curious about that. I'm not going to do it because I'm obviously going for the 100% completion, but I am curious. As far as giving them grief goes, that'll depend on their response to us. You mean it? Oh, thank you. Well, with that said, I guess I'd better drum up what little motivation I have. So, do you still have the flyer you said they gave you? I've got the T-phone, at least. You'll probably need it. Wish I had the flyer, but I actually ended up throwing it away. Well, the first thing to do is to gather some intel on these guys. Right, they don't seem like they're in the area right now, but we should be able to ask around without worrying we'll scare them off. In that case, why don't we head to the Verne store and see if anyone's seen a pair of scammers around. Maybe we should check in with some of the neighboring shops, too. To make sure those guys aren't selling brand name knockoffs and other products, right? Exactly, you're so smart, S. It's important we get a good idea of how widespread the operation is first. Although it's likely they're not doing this with anything other than T-phones. If we're worried about other potential knockoffs, the Liberal Boutique seems like it'd be a likely target. After all, they're said to stock a famous wine from Liberal, Grand Chardonnay. A single bottle can get pretty expensive depending on the year. That's what Olivier decided to steal from that restaurant. And that's what got him thrown in prison. I see, guess we better get started then. It's probably for the best that we don't tell people we're investigating swindlers, though. Don't want to cause unnecessary panic. Let's just stick to asking if they know anything about cheap T-phones. Alright, I'll wait around outside the mall until you guys reach out. Don't want to risk running into them again, you know? Sure, we'll let you know what we find. Obviously, we can't call him. He doesn't have a T-phone. T-phone instead of iPhone. I get it. You would think it'd be called a V-phone, though, if it's, you know, Verne Company. Oh, I guess T-phone is just supposed to stand for telephone, though. This lady seems really taken in by this stuff. Guess she's really into horrible hardware. I'll bet she knows something. Excuse me, miss, do you mind if we ask you a few questions? Nadia and the others told the lady about their investigation into heavily discounted T-phones. Maybe she means like the ones that were on that paper, Mom. Oh, you mean the flyer we got after we left the Verne store? These two men came up to us out of nowhere and started trying to sell us on something. You got a flyer? Is there a chance you still have it on you? No, I tore it up after copying their info down. They kept going on and on about how there was a reason they were able to get T-phones so cheap. I thought it was a little too suspicious. I refused their offer before they could explain any further. It's too bad about the flyer, but that was probably the smart thing to do. Is there anything else you can remember about them? Now that you mention it, they did seem a bit worried about something when we left. Something about not meeting today's quota and her being upset with them. A quota and her, huh? This could be useful information. So we have two men passing out flyers trying to talk people into buying these T-phones. And some authority figure referred to as her. Thank you both, you've been a big help. It was no problem at all. I hope you all find what you're looking for. What a good kid. Let's keep asking around and see if we can learn anything else. Yep, next stop, here we come. We got one of those robots back there. Sorry we had to slice up your friend. I think she was mentioned in the Spriggan notes Van left with us. Must be the one he knows from that incident in Crail Village. See, I was right. I think we even ran into her when we were there last. We're substitute Spriggans. We just have a few questions. Cheap T-phones? Sorry, but I haven't heard anything about that. I've never really heard of anything other than employees mentioned it, either, so I doubt they'll know anything. Oh, I've never really heard the other employees, okay. We have a pretty good view of the area from the shop, too. I've never seen anyone putting up flyers or anything like that. You don't say. Sounds like they're being extra careful so they don't get caught. Guess that means they're not amateurs. What about T-phones that don't work? Heard anything about that? Oh, I actually have heard about that recently. That's a bit concerning. Would you care to elaborate? Well, I guess it's not really that big of a deal. For most people, the T-phone is their first mobile terminal. A lot of them can't figure out how to use them correctly or have trouble adjusting their settings. They'll come in and say it's broken. Most of the time, they just need a little walkthrough on how to use it. Then they're on their way. Even if their T-phone was actually broken, we'd be able to repair it here in the store. I see. In that case, would you mind taking a look at this T-phone for us? Of course, let's have a look-see. Huh? What is going on with this thing? Did you find out what's causing the problem? Well, this is actually the first time I've ever seen anything like this. The outer frame is the same as any other T-phone, but the insides are totally different. It's not a T-phone or a Ziffa at all, it's an Enigma. It looks like it's had all its combat functions removed, and all that's left is the communication functions. An Enigma? I haven't heard that name in a while. I remember them being pretty mainstream 5 or so years ago. Yeah, they were the ones in Crossbell. Oh, how the times have changed. Even if it does have communication functions, there's no doubt it'd be difficult for it to connect to today's orbital network. And since it doesn't have the camera functionality, it's practically nothing compared to an actual T-phone. Our client said something similar too, that this T-phone was a piece of junk. With the Enigma being such an outdated model, which is kind of crazy because, like they said, it was only 5 or so years ago they were in Crossbell and it's that outdated. They're probably selling cheaper on the black market. So they're dressed to look like T-phones and start selling them at a lower price. I don't think I quite understand what's going on, but it definitely sounds like bad news. I should probably go report this to my manager. Actually, sorry to ask this of you, but do you mind keeping this between us until we can finish investigating? We can't really give you anything in exchange, but I promise we'll report back once we've got everything straightened out. After that, you can tell anyone and everyone you want. Alright, I guess I don't mind. I am at least a little familiar with how a Spriggan works. You've been real kind to Lakshar too, so I think I can trust you guys. We really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for being so understanding. Just give us a bit and we'll be back with the full report, okay? Of course, I'll leave it to you then. I'll leave you to it then. So, what's our plan now? I think we still need some more intel. Let's see if we can find someone who might know about these 2 scam artists. Guess we gotta go outside for this one. Oh, right, the Libero shop. Oh, Leela. The mall has a lot of shops carrying high-end goods. We should check and see if any of them are experiencing a scam similar to the one with the T-phones. Sorry, but could we bother you for a moment? Swin and the others told the clerk about the cheap T-phones, then asked if she'd seen anything similar happening with other products. Unfortunately, I don't believe I know much about cheap T-phones, and I haven't heard anything regarding scams or high-end products either. The only product of ours that would be a potential target is our Grand Chardonnay. I don't think we've had any complaints or returns though, so I doubt we have any reason to worry there. Sounds like this store isn't being targeted then. Yeah, swing and a miss. But for a silver lining, I guess we know now there's only one shop that's having issues. Well, now that I think about it, there has been one thing I found concerning. Recently, I've seen a couple of men posting flyers out in front of our store. It all just seems a little suspicious. I notice them sometimes on my lunch break. Can you give us any more details about them? I started seeing the 2 of them around the beginning of the year. I haven't seen them today, but they're here pretty much every day from afternoon until evening. I often see the 2 discussing something while snooping around by the Verne store. They seem to be handing out their flyers to people on their way out. I assume they've been discussing who to target before they leave the store. Huh, that's actually some really useful information. Wow, you sure are pretty observant for having caught all of that. I don't think your average person would think twice about what those guys handing out flyers were up to. On top of that, you're so refined and well-spoken, but not quite as stuffy as an aristocrat. Being so detail-oriented almost makes me think you used to work as a maid at some place super fancy. Do you always have to do that? You're very perceptive. If you're capable of deducing all that, I assume you must be no ordinary customer either. That's right, when a mystery presents itself, I got no choice but to solve it. It's all part of my detective saga. What? Who do you think you're fooling? It's no problem, it's not as though I'm looking to hide it from anyone. When I used to live in Liberal, I worked in a city called Bose that was famous for its commerce. While there, I was a maid for a gentlewoman who supported me quite graciously. In fact, opening up the shop was her idea in the first place. Well, there's your lore there. Maybell gave Leela the go-ahead to do this. Oh, really? It sounds like the person she's referring to isn't just any noble woman. Now that I think about it, isn't the mayor of Bose a young woman? I've never been to Liberal before. Maybe I'll think about taking a trip soon. Oh yes, if you have the opportunity, please do. I think it would make for a lovely holiday getaway. Okay, I think we got all the info we needed. Let's go find a place to sort through all the details. Aye, aye, Captain. Yeah, we sure did talk to lots of people. What a productive day. Alright, why don't we pick this up tomorrow and go catch a movie? Let's throw work to the curb and get a little guilty pleasure in for once. You've sure got an interesting sense of humor. The look on Elaine's face. Your mouth says interesting, but your eyes say I am not amused. That's enough goofing off, I think. We should start going over everything we've learned so far. To start, we know that the two men who were handing out flyers have been spotted between afternoon and evening. We also know that they were specifically targeting customers they saw expressing interest in T-phones. Then they would sweet-talk them into purchasing a cheap T-phone, as well as signing their contract. We'll continue in a sec. I gotta drink some water. There has been a lot of dialogue here. However, the phones themselves are fakes. They're really just modified enigmas. There's also that boss lady the scammers are working under. We're probably going to have to make contact with her sooner or later. Yes, I agree, which raises the question of how we're supposed to do that. I know we have one good option, but I'm a little reluctant to go down that route. I don't think there's any getting around it, S. Did you have something in mind? I'm glad you asked. I recommend we deploy Nana and S's Operation 18, ma'am, using a decoy to lure the perp out. I see, that would be a good way to probe them for answers. I don't mind doing it if we really have to, it's just... You know how rusty I am, so try to keep the premise from getting too elaborate, okay? They're obviously talking about how, if you've read the 3 and 9 books, they very frequently had to pretend to be other people. Or pretend to be, you know, someone they're not. Your request has been acknowledged. In fact, I've already got a plan. Blade Lady, you'll be our backup, so I want you waiting in the wings not too far away. As for you, S, oh, maybe we should get some new outfits from that shop over there. I'll put together a look that'll really bring out your eyes. Considering we don't know when the targets will arrive, I don't think we have time to waste shopping. Oh, S, you're no fun. Should I really be letting them handle this on their own? After that, Swin and the others found an appropriate place to wait for the two men to show up. Then after 10 minutes or so... Here we go. I'm so happy. It's been far too long since you and I have been on a date, hasn't it? So what are you going to buy me today, darling? God, this is no time to be embarrassed, Swin. Right now, you just need to focus on getting our targets to believe you're a real couple. Well, since the company my father manages is doing so well, I think a little splurging can be arranged. He increased my allowance recently, so I figure why shouldn't I buy something extra special for my honey... Swin? Honey bunny. Ooh, that sounds exciting. What are you thinking of getting me? It's something that's been on my mind for a while, actually. Wouldn't it be nice if we could talk to each other anytime we wanted? That's why I'm buying us both T-phones. Yay, oh darling, you're the sweetest. I have more than a few concerns, but they seem to be doing okay so far. Welcome, are you shopping for T-phones today? Yes, my girlfriend and I would like to buy a pair. Let's just have a look at the price tag here, and 20,000 mira each? That's 40,000 mira for both of us. I would use up every bit of my allowance. What, you mean you're not going to buy me a T-phone, darling? I was so excited about it, too. I should have known better than to expect you to live up to your word. Well, wait, I promise I'll get you one, honest. Maybe I can pay in installments, is that an option? Why, of course, sir. Installments like some kind of poor person? Come on, darling, I thought you were cooler than that. Oh, I'm in a real fix now. From that far away. Hey, there's a young couple checking out the T-phone section. What are they like? Easy pickings is putting it lightly. They wanted to buy a set of T-phones, but it looks like they couldn't afford it. Want to start with them for today? Oh, and I was so excited too. You break all your promises. I don't want to go on any more dates if you're just gonna lie to me. I'm sorry, honey bunny. Please don't say things like that. I'll get some more allowance for my father the next time he's in a good mood, I swear. My, what a lovely young couple you are. Geez, two dudes like this come up to me, I'm running away. I think we might just have some info to share that'll pique your interest. Well, this is very sudden. What kind of info? What's this? Cheap T-phones now on sale? They're all the rage? That's right, we're offering them at a highly discounted rate to specific customers only. See, this is the weird thing. It's like, you think about this. So, okay, so let's say this is what these people do. You know, they have these re-outfitted Enigmas that they scam people with. They still operate in the same area. So the people who get scammed could just come here and wait to see them again. I guess, but the contract stuff, so. We can offer you the same product for a lowly 5,000 mira. 5,000 mira? No way, they have to be used or defective, right? Not at all, these are genuine, brand new merchandise. However, there is a reason we're able to offer them so cheaply. We'd be happy to explain it to you over tea if you'd like. What do you say? Just between us, our supply is limited and our inventory is running pretty low. I don't know if you'll get another chance like this. Oh, how lucky for us. Let's listen to what they have to say, darling. Yes, I suppose we should. Looks like they made contact. Keep it up, you two. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. Even though our source is in the little gray area, it's all completely safe and above board. The only issue we've been having is trying to keep up with demand. Personally, I think it'd be a real waste to let this opportunity slide, so you interested? We really should buy them, darling. Like you said, there's a limited supply. Having to sign a contract does make me a little nervous, though. Don't worry, it's not your average contract. With all their bells and whistles, the only thing you have to do is keep it all a secret. I can't believe they're this cheap and you still won't buy them. You're such a wuss. Yeah. Fine, I made up my mind. We'll take 2 of them. Wait, actually, we'll take 4 more. We need them for my honey bunny's friends, too. That's 6 in total. Are you serious? Of course I'm serious. That's 30,000 mira, and I insist on paying in cash. You really are the best, darling. I love it when you get all spend happy. This is great. That'll make our quota for today. Once we get the contract signed, let's head back to report this to the boss. Soon after Swin signed the contract, they provided 6 T-phones in return. Upon saying a quick farewell, the 2 men left. So we actually gave them the money, though. The Quincy Parlor. I'll go tail them. You 2 handle the rest as discussed. Right, thanks, Elaine. Yeah, seems like they bought it. I'm definitely out of practice. Well, I thought you were as good as you've ever been. You just need a bit more time in the field. Maybe another couple dates will fix you up, darling. Please stop. I thought I was going to keel over in embarrassment. Anyway, let's get to inspecting these T-phones. Couldn't you just wait a little longer to switch into work mode? You're right, though. We should be sure these are the same scam T-phones that the client bought. If I remember correctly, the lady at Verde store turned this part like this in. If the insides look like we saw back then, we'll know these are Enigmas too. Looks like he was right. The client was telling the truth after all. Yeah, let's find Elaine and see if we can catch those guys. Alright, reach out to Elaine. They let her know the T-phones really were fakes, made using Enigmas. Elaine explained that she was still in the process of tailing the two men. With a plan to meet up, Swin and Nadia boarded the subway and headed to the Tyrell district. Are we actually going to have to do another tailing minigame? I see you made it. The men are over there. They were whispering about meeting their quota and going to report back to their boss. I was sure they'd be heading back to their hideout. Yeah, and standing out in the open isn't much of a hideout. I guess that means we gotta keep following them. Please don't tell me you're gonna start complaining again. We've still got work to do. You'll have plenty of time to rest later. You two are so pushy. They're on the move. Let's head after them. Alright, here we go. Always throws me off when we hear Judith's voice coming from the board up there. Golden Blood, obviously. Oh, that's the movie we just saw, the basketball one. Okay. Ooh, I gotta get up there. I wish doing a shard search would show you where you can crouch. Okay. I assume they're going to go to the right over here. Because we know that leads to an underground area. But... oh, come on! They were right there! That's such BS. I was still just looking at them. No, I'm not going to skip it. Of course I'm going to try it again. That's so dumb, though. They were very clearly still in my line of view. In my line of sight. That was just BS. I wasn't looking at the lost thing, and I was just like, oh, they're right there. Alright, come on. Yeah, I'm going to put it on turbo. So I don't waste as much time. At least for part of it. Not even gonna bother crouching. They're gonna turn this corner. Yeah, see, why is it going up? I'm looking right at... bro, I'm literally looking right at them. Come on. Can I crouch behind this thing? No. Bro, there's nothing for me to hide behind. Nope. Alright, I think we're good. That was dumb the first time, though. Like, I was very clearly still looking at them. Alright, come on. Alright, we're good. She said treasure. Oh, yeah, I see the treasure chest. Those doors lead to the Tyrell District Waterworks. Looks like that's where they're headed. We'll probably get into scuffles in there. I guess I don't mind pitching in to help. Alright, let's corner them before they have a chance to escape. Well, well, well. Look which lady it is. And that's how we managed to hit today's quota early. So with that said, we've been working this area for several days now, right? Think maybe we could take the rest of the day off? Sure, why not? If you've already hit your quota for the day, might as well pack it in, right? But you know what'll happen if you don't, don't you? What are you getting at? You're right. You're right. It's important I'd be more straightforward. You see, I have no shortage of others willing to put their nose to the grindstone for me. We're sorry, boss. We weren't thinking. We know you run operations like this all over Zemuria. We've got nothing for respect for you. So, just to point it out, we first met this lady back in Crossbell when she was trying to escape the police. And we saw her sprint off from Lloyd. And we've been dealing with her ever since. We'll keep working past our quota, so please don't replace us. Heh, is that so? Well, if you're so passionate about it, then I suppose you better get back out there then, shouldn't you? Yes, of course, we'd be glad to, ma'am. Whatever you say, ma'am. Ugh, sounds like textbook labor exploitation to me. Hey, you're those love-struck schmucks from earlier. You followed us? Yup, that's us, love-struck schmucks. Now bow before our romantic chemistry. Stop that. Would it kill you to deny the schmucks a bit? We're here on business from a client you defrauded out of his mirror. What, are you a Spriggan or something? I'm surprised. I don't recognize your faces. And I see you brought an A-rank bracer along with you. Just what do you intend to do with us? A-rank bracer? I didn't realize it before, but that's Beauty's blade. Damn, you were working with those two all along? Just so we're clear, I'm not actually here on bracer business. But I also can't very well ignore an infamous counterfeiter and her accomplices. I filmed your entire conversation earlier on my Ziffa as evidence. We have a client that just wants to get his mirror back. You know, mirror you swindled him out of. What do you think, Miss Sweet Old Lady? Mind handing it over without fuss? Every single time. Don't get uppity with me, you little brats. Magisa, yep. Stalking other people and taking footage of them without their permission. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. There it is, her world-famous tongue lashing. My ears can't take it. Sheesh, you're loud. And where do you get off lecturing us anyway, you old bat? I'm guessing that means you're not going to agree to our terms, then. You think you won just because you brought an A-rank bracer along with you? I've gotten through scenarios like these more times than I can count. You really think I wouldn't be prepared for this? To be fair, come out, boys. It's feeding time. Did you tame those monsters? I don't think so. Their movements are erratic compared to wild monsters. I bet you just messed with their brains. She must have embedded a device for receiving command signals or something. I always feel bad for all these dogs that are made into the military monsters. I remember seeing a report on a similar case in the documentation we got from Van. I think it was about how Zekdars modified monsters so they could use shard skills. That's right, I brought these pups from Zekdarms, and they're trial-enhanced military monsters. You two, get in there. Teach those damn brats a thing or a lesson they won't soon forget. Right, we're on it. All she's got is 2 kids on her side. We've got monsters. Even Beauty's blade is no match for these odds. That might be true if these were actually any kids. Hey, it's fine by me if they don't know what they're up against. Just means less effort on our end. At least it saves us time spent arguing. Let's take them down. Well, I can't imagine this is going to be very tough, so let's start off big. Well, 1 down. Alright, Elaine, finishing blow. Ugh, I didn't think they'd be so strong. I mean, it makes sense for her, but those kids are a nightmare too. Well, that wasn't much of a fight, so now we just have to decide how to deal with... Come on, you nitwits! You remember what we planned, right? Right. Got it. What the? You're kidding. They're really gonna make a run for it after all that? I have heard she's known for her speedy getaways. I guess it's true after all. Not that I intend to let her go, of course. Let's move. Right. Gotcha. How come it's just us that got caught? There's no way the boss can be that fast, right? Now we better see to catching that woman. I suppose I don't mind taking care of some old biddy. Leave this one to me. I guess those two idiots got themselves captured already. Haha, as long as there's still ground beneath my feet, there'll always be somewhere for me to run. I'll just find another region to hide until this thing blows over. I know you really like talking to yourself, lady, but you might want to watch where you're going. What is this? The jig is up, turn yourself in. Damn. Fine, how about this? I give your client back all his Mira. In fact, I'll pay his fee for hiring you, too. I'll even pay back every single Mira of the 30,000 we took from you two. Good deal, huh? We can put this whole thing behind us. That doesn't sound too bad. But unfortunately for you, Spriggans aren't in the business of making friends with villains. I mean... Plus, I believe our client specifically asked us to give you what for. Swin, Nadi, and Elaine took Magisa and the two men they captured back above ground. Magisa was forced to pay back the 30,000 Mira Swin had paid her earlier. They then called up their client to decide how to best deal with the captive counterfeiters. You guys are really something. I can't believe you even caught the ringleader. Sounds like she's pretty famous for this sort of thing. Perhaps we should turn her over to the police? You fool. Hand us over to the police and you'll be found guilty too. That's why I offered to return your mirror in exchange for letting us go. If that's too hard for you to swallow, then you can forget about us ever getting a single mirror back from me. What an attitude. You don't even feel the slightest bit regretful, do you? Refunding his mirror wouldn't be enough to absolve you of your crimes anyhow. I refuse to overlook what you've done. Well, the original request did ask us to rake the culprits over the coals. But given that our client's here at the moment, we should probably let him decide how to deal with them. How to deal with them, huh? Any suggestions? The guild could always turn them over to the police for you. We've been well aware of the woman's extensive criminal record for a while now. Getting her off the streets would be the most optimal solution. Plus, I'm fairly certain we could talk the police into bringing even more severe charges against her. You can do that? Actually, now I get a good look at you. Aren't you Elaine Auclair? How does it feel to be famous, Blade Lady? The real issue is what comes after we turn them in. The guild is responsible for prioritizing the safety of civilians. It's our duty as bracers. Given that you're a victim of fraud, we should be able to push that angle to the police. Either way, we'll make sure they understand you weren't at fault here, Ned, and that you needn't be interrogated. That being said, however, choosing to bring this to the police doesn't guarantee you'll get your money back. Especially considering none of the other victims have filed for damages. Exactly, but keep in mind that this option does mean they'll be punished to the full extent of the law. I see. Though if you're not totally sold on taking them to the police, you do have another choice. Take them to Tryon Mall's security detail. Security detail? Now that you mention it, I do remember Valis having some security guards on their payroll. Wait, does that mean their security firm is affiliated with Marduk, the Marduk Company? That's right, let's just say I've been doing a little research on them lately. You see, Marduk regularly collects new data on criminals so they can use it to improve their systems. So instead of turning them over to police, the security team will probably just make use of them back at headquarters. Make use of us? What does that mean? I've heard rumors, but I didn't think Marduk would go that far. If we go down that route, the security firm will probably compensate us for their negligence. But if you do give them over to Marduk, they'll be back on the streets once they're done with them. There's a high risk that they'll reoffend, but I don't think I can personally recommend that option. Hey, we shouldn't be trying to influence his decision. Those are my options. Guess I have a few things to think over. To be honest, I'd be satisfied with either option, but I'm struggling which one to pick. Mind telling me what you think? You're asking me? I think each approach has its pros and cons. I'm gonna say the guild just because I want to start getting the law stuff up. So let's go with the guild. Plus, I do feel like that's the best option. It's like, yes, he won't get his money back, but they will be off the streets in a more serious fashion. I kind of think it would be better to send them to the police through the guild, though. You might not be able to get your mirror back, but at least they'll face their fair share of the consequences. I see. It's settled then. I'll take your advice. Considering everything we just talked about, I'm pretty sure there's plenty others who fell victim to these con artists. It might be better if they're arrested so that the case can actually be investigated. Well, I say that, but my main reason for deciding to go to the police is I know I'll be safe from interrogation. Either way, I think you made the right choice. Aw, but the straight and narrow is so boring. You know this isn't the first or even the second time I've been to prison, right? You better be ready for when I get out of the slammer, because this old phoenix will rise again. When that happens, the guild and the police will be right there to douse your fire. Let's head to the guild on Station Street. We can turn them in there. Yeah. And so, Swin and the others went to Station Street, where they arrived at the Edith branch of the guild. There, they explained the scam involving the T-phones and revealed the footage that Elaine had captured using her Zimba. Magisa and her accomplices were then handed off to the guild to be summarily dealt with. Phew, am I glad that's over. Thanks for going to all the trouble of this for me. Maybe I won't get my mirror back, but I feel loads better about the whole thing. We did nothing out of the ordinary. We only did what the guild would do. By the way, it seems like they intend to seek out a harsher punishment for the scammers. It's just as I said they would. I'm certain they'll work with the police to make sure none of the victims see any repercussions. Sounds like having the Blade Lady leading the charge helps smooth things over. Yeah, you know, I really think the honest path worked out for the best. Of course, I owe you guys the biggest thanks of all. If I hadn't put out that 4 SPG request, I doubt I'd even considered going to the guild about it. It's no big deal, it's our job after all. Just be careful not to get swindled next time. You kind of come across as an easy mark. Right, I guess I'll try to be more careful. After seeing that off, Swin, Nadia, and Elaine decided to go back to investigating the Orbital network interference. Well, that was a bit of a long one. Okay. So Law and Chaos are very close to getting to 4 now. Alright, so we are done with that now. So now what I'm going to do is we are going to stop next to a... Well, I guess probably a good idea to find the one in this area. Where is it? There's obviously going to be one here, just like everywhere else. It's going to be down here, right? Nope. It's going to be somewhere. It's like they say, there should be one in each section. Might be down here. Yep, here we go. Alright, so between videos, I am going to do the Martian Garden farming that I said I'm going to do, and then next time we're going to head to the Blacklight District to handle things. So, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.